With the 15th pick in this year's NBA draft, the Miami Heat selected Kel'el Ware out of Indiana. Now, Ware as a sophomore was an intriguing prospect and former 5-star recruit who seemed to be a potentially effective rim protector, pick-and-roll finisher, and possibly even stretch the floor. But despite having all these skills, and even being in the 2024 draft class that was generally perceived as extremely weak, he fell just outside the lottery to the Miami Heat, who generally have a pretty darn good draft record. So while it seemed he had the tools to be a solid big man in the NBA, there generally wasn't that much buzz around his upside amongst NBA front offices. But pretty quickly that all changed when he was one of the standout stars of NBA Summer League. Unlike the top prospects who typically play 1 to 3 games in Summer League and then sit out, Kel'el played all 6 games and produced an elite stat line. During those 6 games of Summer League, Kel'el averaged 18 points per game on 61.8% from the field, 8.3 rebounds, 1.5 blocks, and an underwhelming but somewhat promising 30% from 3 on 1.7 attempts per game. So hopes were high for the rookie coming into the year, but for the first 25 games of the season, he either wasn't playing or playing extremely limited minutes. But things changed on December 21st when Kel'el started to get consistent minutes and gradually earned more and more playing time. And all that progress has culminated in these last 3 performances at the time of recording from January 19th to the 23rd. In this extremely small but impressive sample size, Kel'el is averaging 22.3 points per game, 11 rebounds, 2 blocks, 53% from the field, and 36 minutes per game. Now, in this sample size, he's only shooting around 28% from 3, but on the season as a whole, he's shooting 37.5%. Okay, so next here we're kind of just going to go over a few clips and break down some key points of his game. Nothing too detailed as far as the breakdowns go, but I just want to highlight a few key plays that show off some of the strongest aspects of his game. Now, I think the part of his game so far that I've highlighted the least is his 3-point shot. I've kind of painted it in a light that it might be a little worse than it actually is, and I kind of just want to correct that here for a bit. In his sophomore year in college, he shot 42% from 3 on relatively low efficiency, a little bit over 1 a game, but that's still really good. And so for this season, like I said earlier, he's shooting 37.5%, which is above league average. And since he started getting consistent minutes on December 21st, he's shooting around 39%. Now, I do think that percentage might drop a little bit as his attempts start to go up over his last 3 games. He's gotten up quite a bit of attempts, but I do think he will be a legitimate 3-point shooter at some point in his career, if not already. One of the things I like about his 3-point shot is his willingness to take it. He looks comfortable out there. It doesn't look like he has to think about it at all. He knows it's a good shot and he knows he can make it. In addition to that, his mechanics look fluid. Now, that's not the most important thing there is. Some people have unorthodox shots that work for them, but I think in general, it's good to have a shooter whose shot looks nice and fluid and like a shot you would typically see from a good shooter. Now that we got his 3-point shooting out of the way, I want to show a few more clips highlighting his athleticism and defense. Here's a nice clip of him catching a lob from Nikola Jovic. And honestly, this clip might be a better highlight for Jovic than it is Ware, but it's still a really good showcase of his athleticism. And also here he is catching an easy weak side lob while the defense is sleeping. Now that's not the craziest play in the world, but it is an important one that you want your center to be able to do. In addition to high-flying slams, he also showcases athleticism on the defensive side, averaging 2 blocks a game over this last 3 games, and being a more than capable deterrent at the rim. Now, athleticism is nice, but he's also shown a little bit of touch on the inside. This might be a part of his game where he could use more work, but I like the signs that I'm seeing. This play especially stood out to me. If he could make this a regular part of his game, that would be great. Now, over the past couple of days, from a lot of different people, he's kind of garnered some comparisons to Victor Wembanyama. And I can't say that's too crazy because it was just a few days ago that I was watching him, and I was kind of like, he's kind of like a short Wemby. And, I thought I was, kind of just joking around saying that. But now that I'm hearing all these other people say that, it is kind of just funny to hear. Now, I don't want to get things twisted here. He is not Victor Wembanyama. He's not as good as Victor Wembanyama. There's a lot of things that Victor Wembanyama does that Kel'el Ware doesn't, but the way they move out there at certain times just kind of is similar, I guess. So while nothing is a sure thing in the NBA, It certainly seems that Kel'el Ware has all the tools to be a star player in this league, and he's already showing flashes of that potential. Also, in an interview, he said his name is Kel'el, K-E-L''E-L, because Superman's name is Kal-El with a K-A-L''E-L, and that's just freaking cool. We love comic books over here on this channel, and I want to meet Khalil's parents now. They sound really awesome. But yeah, that's all I pretty much had for you guys today. I kind of just wanted to go in and take a look at Kel'el Ware and shed a little bit of light on what he's been doing in this past week. You know, I can't really sit here and act like I've been a big fan of Kel'el Ware and that I've been like following his career, because I really haven't. You know, I've been aware of him. I know that people liked him on the Heat. I didn't really pay too close of attention to Summer League. I heard he was doing really well there. But going in the league, or going into the season rather, Kel'el wasn't really getting minutes, so I didn't really invest that much time into really looking at him. But now he's starting to get more minutes and starting to look really good. You know, I gotta say, he looks really good out there, and I know it's just a really small sample size, but it looks like the sky could be the limit for this guy. You know, I'm not saying he's gonna be a superstar or anything like that, but I think this is definitely the kind of guy that could be a 1 to 3 time all-star, you know, something like that, maybe even better. Now, I also want to say, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. You know, rookies show flashes all the time and then don't pan out. You know, that's part of the NBA. Things never go the way you expect or the way you want them to go, or they very rarely do. And I just want to, you know, reemphasize that while I'm getting really excited about Kel'el Ware, I really love being positive about players' careers in general. But I also want to remind everyone that just because I'm saying I think he could do all these things, that doesn't mean that he's a guaranteed lock. You know, players don't pan out that you think will be good all the time. You know, coming into the league, I thought Dennis Smith Jr. was going to be a problem, and a lot of other people did too. And somehow he's not even on a team this year. But yeah, that's enough of my spiel. If you guys are still here, you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a like. It really helps me out, and I appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell maybe so you don't miss the next video. But other than that, yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace.